Okay.
I'm going to ask you questions.
Okay.
Hopefully we're good. All right, I'm here with Julian McMahon. We're doing a little update because we haven't taped the show in what, a year? No, a little less than a year.
A little less, yeah.
So tell me, since you interviewed me, because if you remember, you came back and interviewed me for the show.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
How did you feel after that?
I thought it was really fun. Yeah. I mean, that's the first time I've done that kind of stuff, and it was definitely a new experience for me, but I thought it was super fun, and you were fun to interview, and it was fun even doing a little bit of research on you and kind of coming up with some interesting questions or what I thought was interesting, and the whole process was really, really interesting.
That's cool. Yeah, I could see your research was good, your questions were good, and I think I told you then that you were listening, which is the key to a good interview.
Yeah, yeah.
In my professional opinion.
No, I agree. I mean, I love listening.
Right? Because there's so many interesting things. Okay, so that's how you felt about it.
Yeah.
I told you you were skilled at it. It was good. Did you have any regrets after?
Regrets?
Yeah.
For doing it?
Yeah, or anything about it that you're like, oh, I wish I whatever.
Oh, okay. So I'm kind of like critiquing it.
Critiquing.
Slightly. I don't think so. I mean, I didn't see the final result, so I got to go check it out.
Yes, you do have.
I
was
know,
so offended.
I know. You should be offended. I should be offended too. I'm offending myself right now. I just really enjoyed it. But you're fun always anyway. So it's when you're enjoying yourself, it's hard to criticize something. But I'll take a look at the.
Okay.
I'll take a look at the final cut.
I don't want you to
and then
criticize
I'll get back.
it. I don't want you to criticize yourself. That wasn't the point at all. Because sometimes I have some regrets after. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I forgot to ask about or whatever. Or,
yeah, sure.
But I'm so in the moment when I'm interviewing that I can't think about the other things that I wanted to or considered maybe I should hit this topic.
And it's about creating the piece, right? Because
Yeah.
you go away and you edit it, right?
Not that much.
Not much? Okay. So it's about that, but it still remains like if you're not in the moment, you're thinking about all of that other stuff, then you're not getting that fresh
That's
kind
exactly
of
right.
feeling, right?
That's right.
And so that kind of compromises the fact that maybe there's some questions that you didn't get to or you didn't ask or you might have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the truth of it, the reality of it that kind of makes it so fun to watch.
Yeah, totally. Agreed. Okay, so let's shift towards you not interviewing me, but you being you. So,
me being me.
You being
Well,
you.
give me a minute.
How to get into character.
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay, so how have you changed since that day that we met up? Has anything changed for you emotionally? I don't know, just in life. I'm trying not to lead you in any direction.
Yeah.
So like, how's life been? How have you been feeling since
Well, so
last
we did
summer?
that. Did we do that in summer?
I think it was summer.
I think it was just right on the cusp of turning into summer or just becoming summer. Yeah. So look, a lot of things. I mean, it's been interesting, coming out of what we've just been in previously, which is 2020, 2021, which was a bit difficult and whatever else. And I actually had this really interesting influx of Australian friends to New York. It was so
they were living there?
No, they just all
came to
decided
visit?
to get on a plane and fly to New York, and so that was really cool because I hadn't seen a lot of people for years, and so I got to spend some time with them. Then I went and shot a movie in Wilmington, North Carolina. Then I went to Miami and lived in Miami for a few weeks. Actually, a month, about 6 weeks.
Just for fun?
Just for fun, yeah.
Where were we staying? Generally, what area?
Boca Raton,
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, just north of Miami.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You love Florida.
Yeah, I love Florida.
I forgot. That just reminded me. So no wonder you went there.
I do love Florida.
But you were supposed to go to the West Coast.
I know, but I just decided because I was on my way over. I mean, it was such a weird thing because I was on my way over here so many times over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I just didn't get it. And then I got a call and they're like, do you want to shoot this movie in Wilmington? I'm like, why not, So went down to that, was great. And then we thought, let's take a quick break before Christmas. So we did that. And then we drove across the country.
You did?
Yeah.
We're toying with that idea too. So is
Are
that
you?
a big mistake or because it might be part of the big move?
Yeah. So
So is
what's
that,
the
would
mistake?
you recommend it, or is it painful to drive across the country?
So much
yeah,
fun.
You did it during COVID too, I just remembered.
No, we didn't make it. Remember, I was on my way twice, and I never made it.
Oh.
Yeah, once I got stuck in a hurricane in New
Oh,
Orleans,
okay.
outside of New Orleans, and then the other time.
But you didn't, so then after you were stuck in North Carolina, you didn't drive out?
No, we were going to, and then it just suited better not to.
Okay.
Right?
But you
that was
recommend it, you were
2020,
saying.
right?
Yep.
But, oh no, I mean, here's what I would do. Everybody has different things. So, you know, some friends of mine, some people I'd met at the movie actually just decided to do it.
Okay.
But they did it real fast. And I wouldn't recommend real fast.
Okay.
Because it's a drive. You know what I mean?
So what do you need, like 10 days or something?
At least 10 days.
Okay.
I'd say minimum 10 days. If you can push it to 2 weeks. If you're going to experience, you know, we also did, went up to the top part of Florida, came across Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, do you know what I mean? And then kind of came up through Texas, went through New Mexico, Sedona, and then came kind of down the back. But I'd find a route that's interesting to you.
Yeah.
And
map it out.
whoever you're traveling with, you know what I mean? Map it out and kind of really just make the moments work for you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you did all that.
It's an extraordinary country. There's so many. You know, there's a place called, do you know Florida-Bama?
Hold on. You
Oh,
have
did
to
I-
let
did I
everybody
do- yeah,
still
sorry,
see
sorry,
you.
sorry.
See you.
Do you know? Have you heard about the Florida-Bama?
What's the Florida?
It's a bar on the Florida-Alabama border.
Oh, okay.
So, like, you know, you drive past it, and it's hard not to stop. So you got to kind of also allow for moments of
all right.
spontaneity.
Yes.
Right.
I love that. I'm good with that.
And it's insane, this place. Like, and we were there when it was quiet, but you can see, like, this place must go absolutely nuts in the middle of summer.
Okay.
You know, a lot of country stars sing about it and stuff like that. But so it's a famous. Look it up.
Right, because when you said Florida-Bama, is that what you said?
Yeah.
I went to the University of Florida, right, for college,
yeah.
and I remember it was always a big football game, Florida-Bama.
Yeah, no, it is.
Florida-Bama.
Yeah,
so that was what,
yeah.
I think I had a t-shirt of like Florida-Bama game, whatever, year, whatever it was.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Okay, so you did that.
Yeah, so did that.
All right, and then?
Then it was Christmas. And we, you know, took off, all the family got together up north, had a beautiful Christmas and New Year out in the desert.
Okay. Have you had any like aha moments about your life, what you want to do, how you feel, how you want to approach life, anything, any aha moments in the last, let's say, year or 6 months?
I think to be honest, I think it's all been a bit of an aha moment. I mean, I think there's this kind of thing that's happened since the pandemic and since the shutdown and since our change in life and lifestyle and the way that we think and feel and all these kind of things. And we really recognize how important it is on this journey of life to be enjoying ourselves, to be happy. And I'm not saying you need to go party every day or go and sit at Nobu over there every day. I'm talking like really honestly and truthfully be joy-filled and happy and you know, gracious and thoughtful and you know, just all of this stuff that's kind of came out of it for me. And so I think that's kind of constantly evolving.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you know, I think it's also about like figuring out how you want to spend your time.
And how do you want to spend your time?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. I think we're in the same boat. So I'm kind of just figuring it out. You know, I'm back in California after not being here for 4 years is really interesting, but it's such a different thing from when I lived in California for over 20 years. And I lived and worked here, right? And so now I'm back here, and it just is a different time in my life, very different headspace. I'm a different person completely. What is it that I want to do with it if I'm staying in this space called California? And it's really been cool because I've been exploring areas that I've been right next to, but I never took the time or the opportunity to explore. And that's been something that I've been really kind of enjoying and kind of holding on to in regards to trying to figure out the next step.
Okay, I'm really feeling like I want to tap into all of that, and that's like a whole other or full show. Because you just said something so interesting. This is the problem. I'm like, this is supposed to be 1 or 2 minutes. We've already clearly gone way over. But no. I have to ask you about one thing you said. You said you're a totally different person than you were then. So I believe in this like evolution over time that we should all have. I mean, I don't know if I want to say should. Some people just aren't going to change, and that's okay. But for me, I think it's exciting to see how I have changed and my interests have changed too. Like, you're not stuck in one place necessarily your whole life, and that's kind of what's cool. You know, you get older, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. And so, all right, so anyway, back to the actual thing you said. So how are you different now than you were then? Like when you first moved to LA, let's say, or when you were, you said you were here for 20 years.
Well, I was a lot younger. But
wait, were you filming Nip Tuck here? Was that here?
Yeah.
So a big bulk of it was here.
Yeah, but I came to LA, started auditioning, wasn't kind of getting anywhere. It was also really, I was actually getting places, but working permits at that point in time were really difficult to get, unless you were like the lead on a thing. Like, so I had.
Wait, you weren't a resident? Is that a citizen?
No,
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I was like an alien.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you have to prove that you're an alien of extraordinary ability. So whatever job it is that you do, you have to prove that you're better than somebody else. And the only way that you can, better than everybody else actually. And the only way to do that in our business at that point in time was you had to be the lead of something. And so it wasn't until I got offered a job on a soap in New York that I was presented with a contract that made it look like I was the lead of something.
Okay.
So I was so important that they couldn't cast anybody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then you get the contract, then so I was there, then I did that, then I came over here, then I did a show called Profiler, a couple movies, and then I did Charmed, and then I did Nip Tuck. And that's 20 years right there, at least. 5, 3, 8. Right?
And you're like always employed, that's pretty good.
So,
all right, so then just generally speaking then, how are you different now from how you used to be?
well, I was young and pretty kind of energetic and, full of moxie and what all that other stuff that young males should be kind of full of in their 20s and whatever. And so, I was out a lot and I enjoyed going to parties a lot. And, life was just very, very different. Now you're married and kids and all that kind of stuff. It becomes a different ballgame altogether. That evolution's its own thing. But,
right.
It was like when I was living in New York when you and I saw each other and whatever else. I'd lived in New York in the early 90s. But, if you're 21 and living in New York, it's different to being whatever age I am now and living in New York. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so you look at it differently. So New York in the 90s was also different places.
Yes.
Right? So New York was a very different city in the 90s to 2019, 20, 21, 22.
Right.
Right? California, Los Angeles, as an example, the bar scene and club scene in Los Angeles in the 90s was fantastic. It was just, there was so many great clubs, there was so many great bars. It was like that. It was along with some other places. New York has always driven nightlife type stuff, right? But Los Angeles at that point in time was kind of, I feel like, on par with like London-y, kind of like things were happening at different times, like Wednesday nights for big nights, you know what I mean? It wasn't Saturday nights for, you know what I mean? Like it was this whole kind of underground culture, and also living in the hills and the Hollywood Hills. Yeah. There was this whole burgeoning thing of actors and artists and musicians, and, you know what I mean? We're all living there, we're all studying, we're all trying to find work, and we're all trying to evolve, and we're all doing all these different things. And you're all together, and you come together and have drinks and go to the bar, and then you go out, and it's all full of that youthful life stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The energy.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And now, I would like to say I still have that energy for that stuff that is still evolving.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that I'm calmer. I'm a little more grounded. You know, I'm a little more sensible, maybe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're not just driven by whatever's in
Right,
front
like
of you,
your
kind of thing. You know
mood
what I
or
mean?
yeah.
And I like that. I'm enjoying that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I
Like
just
my mornings are early and my nights are early. You know what I mean? Like I get up early, and by 7:30 I'm like,
You're
okay,
done.
we ready for dinner in bed, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
that is the funniest thing too. I mean, I'm not quite a 7:30 person yet.
Well, I
but
know. Neither's my wife.
Yeah.
Um,
But I
I'm
think if you're
literally-
already 7:30, by the time you're like
you're not getting to bed till
old,
9,
you're gonna be
right?
going to sleep at like 5.
Oh no, it'd be 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
No, I know.
All right. So one question I have to ask you that I did remember that I wanted to ask you because I don't think we ever talked about it. What's a fun fact that many of your favorite fans don't even know about you? It's a big fact.
Oh.
You probably think everybody knows it about you,
What?
but we never talked about it. You have quite an interesting childhood.
Oh yeah.
So say it in one sentence, because this is a short interview, and then
Which-
we'll talk about it in depth
You
next
say it
time.
because I don't know what you're talking about.
Who's your father?
Oh, my father was the Prime Minister of Australia.
Say it to the camera. It's so
My father was the
interesting.
Prime Minister.
Say it again, because I'm
Right.
talking over you. Fun fact. What's a fun fact about you?
A fun fact about me is my father was the Prime Minister of Australia. And my mom was the First Lady, and she was kind of interesting too. Well, she was very interesting actually. Lady Sonia, she was a bit of a fashion lady and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's an interesting history if you're interested.
Also,
in that kind
where
of
you
stuff.
got your fashion sense from.
I think so.
Mhm.
I mean, my mom was the obvious fashion kind of one because she was quite beautiful and she connected with a lot of designers who would make her stuff and it just kind of worked.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad was actually really very conscious. You know, he's always had his suits made, custom made, and his shoes were kind of spectacular and
Yeah.
beautiful belt. You know what I mean? Like everything was, he was very detailed.
Just so.
Yeah, but I also think a lot of the Australia's of my father's ilk and culture at that point in time, they were all pretty conscious and pretty fashion sensible,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay. All right, good. So, how should we end this since you're an interviewer, Joe?
Oh, yeah, well.
I'll let you end it.
Okay, well, I think we should end it by telling everybody that we are at this point in time in Malibu. Right?
Beautiful background. See, we worked hard to bring you this nice background too. We did scope
Yeah.
out a bunch of spots.
Yeah, we scoped spots and we paid a lot of money for this site right here. No, we didn't. No, but we're out in Malibu on the pier. The farm restaurant's over there. There's another great restaurant down there. Malibu Beach Inn is right there. Soho House is down there. Noble Restaurant's down there. It's the middle of winter, and where I came from, it was freezing this morning. So I rugged up. You kind of rugged up too.
Yeah, I have
right?
my puppy.
And there's people out here in
furry sweater.
t-shirts and shorts. So we both came out to Malibu slightly overdressed, but it is a beautiful day here. And yeah, it's been kind of fun to catch up with my good friend here. He's got a good wave. Look. Nice. Oh, how good does that look?
So, do you surf?
Uh-huh. I just picked it up again.
Oh yeah, you said you throw your.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been stand-up paddling a lot, actually.
Right. Okay, question.
Yeah.
How do you know when people recognize you? Like, let's say when you're walking down Malibu Pier.
Well, firstly, you got to kind of be paying attention a little bit, so, and I don't always pay attention, but you kind of see the way that they kind of do a slight. It's usually a slight. I mean, it must
Like
happen
the
to you
moment
too, right?
of recognition.
Yeah.
Like
so
you can
there's
tell.
a
if
moment
they-
where they're kind of like cruising along. You can see them doing their thing, and then they go. It's so
Double
funny.
take, yeah.
I love people that can't quite put a nail on it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, I know that guy. Where do I know him from? Did I used to go to college with him? Or did he work for me? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you can see this whole evolution of something going on.
in their brain. How often do they approach you?
How often?
Yeah, most of the
If
time.
I'm out, usually, quite a lot.
Okay.
Most of the time. Pretty much every day.
Oh,
every day
whoa!
you're
Wow, that's a
Not-
lot.
Not at home.
Right. But it feels like a lot every day. So you're always aware that people are watching you, basically. You're never
No,
just...
I think you shut that off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you shut that off. And you kind of just, if you're too conscious of that, then I don't think you're really living your life. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But you see it. You know what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.